when Liam like texted me, he's like, I would like to see if you'd like to play a test game for Candela. And I was like, what? So when my agent called me, they were like, oh, and then I texted Liam, I was like, yes, we'd like to see if you
trying to keep it cool.
Play. Yeah. And I'm like freaking out, but I'm like, no, I'm chill. Yeah, man, I'll be down there. Yeah, no problem.
Episode of Candela is fantastic, and Liam just immediately goes in on you guys. There was no mercy.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. As someone who gets profoundly seasick, that was uncomfortable.
Liam, before we even started, was chomping at the bit. He was like, I want to make you guys pay. I want to make you guys go through all the levels of fear and exhaustion. I want you to be scared. Some of you might not make it out the first episode. I don't know.
Yeah,
so he said that, and so I'm like, all right, damn. Like, Liam's, sorry.
He was on a mission to commit murder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was.
And he kind of let us know. He's like, listen, I'm not going to like save, because it's a short run. I'm not going to save your lives just for the sake of the show. Like if you die, you're dead. That's it. I'll do this with two of you, like with one of you. So we were warned, and from jump, it was like immediate action, which is so cool.
Yeah, he's like, I know Captain Save-A-Ho, okay? I'm just gonna freaking, y'all are gonna freaking just pay. And I'm like, what? Huh?
What have we done?
What have I done? He's a good friend of mine, and I saw him turn, and I was ready for it, because then it got me in the mood. I was like, all right, well, this is no play. Although I did do something very brash, like at the beginning, that freaked you, right? You were like, you scolded me, Alex. You're like,
I was like, what is happening? Just diving off a ship.
I remember. Oh yeah.
They were like, I look after we're done with that scene. I looked at all of you guys. You guys are like,
yeah. If Liam is on a mission to kill us, you were on a mission to kill off your character as soon as possible.
Dude, I'm like, my boy he's a hero for hire, and that's what he's in the ex-military. He saves people, and that's why I was like, when Liam put that out there, because you're trying to like also read little clues that we might pick up on, or maybe we need to save this person. Oh, too late. Too bad you didn't save that dude. Oh, you let him drown, or just like, oh, some moral and dilemma that's going to happen because my character didn't save them. So I was like, F it, pedal to the metal. Like, I'm gonna dive my ass in here because it's meant to be. That's what I thought. I thought it was meant to be, and then I kept on rolling. Candela. It was like
your dice confound me. The amount of sixes you rolled throughout that entire all 3 episodes.
Yeah,
Alex hated
me nuts. I was like, this is statistically impossible that you're doing this.
You don't want me in Vegas though, because that would be the exact opposite result if I'm in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? I don't roll like that.
I only roll like that when I'm rolling for something bad to happen to me.
Yeah.
And then I will roll the worst possible thing that my character will experience.
Talk about like just having anxiety every time. I mean, it's amazing how much that creeps in when you're in a situation. You're like, oh my God, I really want this. I want it. And then you're like, you might not have it. It's just, it's one of those things, man.
Now, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about your characters and kind of what was the inspiration for each of your characters, and how did you want to explore the specific themes of horror we're going to see in this chapter, and how like your characters each kind of tapped into that.
My character's name was Edgar Lycoris, and the concept for him, I wanted to do something that I hadn't really gotten to do in a tabletop game before. I tend to play a lot of, in other tabletop media, I play a lot of monstrous creatures and things like that. And I kind of wanted to play a normal man, like someone who just like has had a bad shit happen to him in his life, but like is just trying to be like relatively helpful to the world and being a doctor and just being like living his life and like trying to accept things that happened in his past while still being curious and thinking about them, and they still are there, but he's trying, there's two sides. I'm trying to put it behind it, but also not really being able to. But I was also really, with the setting and the time period in which this series of Candela is set, it was very much, I really love the aesthetics of like old operating theaters.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to like set something in that. And then there's it took a lot of inspiration, character appearance wise and stuff like that from the show The Nick with Clive Owen. And just that was kind of where I when I was looking at all of the character the jobs for characters in Candela, where I knew that I would, normally go to would be an occultist or a medium, because that's like where I would normally want to go as a player. But I was challenging myself to go somewhere different, so I chose the doctor role, which I ended up really, really liking, and I ended up loving my character very much. So
Yeah, you got into your character, man. You were in it, dude. Shit. So did Aimee, dude. You guys are like, damn.
It's funny. I was looking through my text because I was trying to remember like what the inspiration was, and I remember sending Liam a totally unhinged voice memo that he was like, "Yeah, I think we're gonna have to talk in person about it." But I'd seen that movie. Oh, what was that movie I was telling you guys about? The one with the hand.
Oh, Talk to Me.
Talk to Me. There we go.
Talk to Me.
Yes.
I'd seen that movie Talk to Me like a week before, and I really was interested in the idea of of like coming into contact with an artifact and having that bring up like experiences with spirits that are attached somehow to that artifact. And Liam wanted to make this chapter of the story really just about normal people. Like he didn't want us to be, it was important to him, at least that was my interpretation of what he said. He wasn't looking for like a super powered team of people, just normal people who were interested in this arena or have had experiences, right? Like we all have on our character sheet, we all have like, what's the impetus? What's the why? So
right.
Usually all of the characters will have a reason, like maybe they've touched the supernatural really briefly, but it's not a common occurrence. So I was like, okay, well, if she's actually, how can we make this less superpowered? And then I thought of, well, what if she does have this skill or this gift, which sometimes feels like a curse, but it's not nearly as common as we would think, or as she makes it out to be. So she sort of monetizes it and has a performance around it. And she sort of was raised by / works for these really kind of like well-to-do artifact dealers that are in the Red Hand. She somehow finds herself in under their care as like a young person, and then they discover her gift and and see like, oh wow, that's a really good way of selling this, like this old like ruby necklace. If we can convince the person buying it that a spirit is attached to it, whether or not it's a real spirit is a different story. So I thought maybe adding that level of, she's also, I mean, she technically has like she has medium capabilities, but most of it is an act. So I think, I don't know if this is exact terminology, but we sort of kind of Frankenstein or multi-classed this character. So, God, I don't really remember exactly what.
It was so swirly. Oh yeah.
What were you? You were mainly medium with a bit of the magician.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Medium magician. Yes, right. Medium magician. So
I'm
that was
like
cool.
Slowly all coming back to me.
Yeah, I know. It really is. But yeah, I kind of wanted to explore the idea of how to, like, kind of like Alex said with his character, like or well, maybe not like Alex's character, because you are providing a daily service. You know what I'm saying? Like as a doctor, you're actually doing, so she kind of feels like her soul is a little bit like sucked out of her by fooling people, right? Into thinking like they're communing with their loved ones or with whatever.
Right.
And so I think she's secretly on a mission via Candela to figure out a way to set these souls, the ones that she does encounter, as rarely as it happens, free. So I was just kind of interested in that. But yeah, my inspiration was that movie 100%.
It was so crazy because like all of our characters together was both extraordinary and also just like normal at the same time in terms of like, where we're from and everything. With Aimee's story, which I thought was really like drawing, which kind of got me into it, was the fact that she's a little bit of an indentured servitude to this couple.
Yeah.
And but has a strength about her character. And then Alex's character is just like, very straight, Edgar's just very like no BS, that's the facts. This is not plausible, like scientific brain, but also has passion with what he does too. So it was like, with my character, Malcolm, because I was figuring out, because as they're coming up with these new stories, I'm like, oh, damn. Like people are like, Tal wrote like a little novel, and he was like, as I sip my
That's right. Yeah,
shot,
I forgot about that. But you came in hot. Like you came in with
Yeah.
your character
I-
fully
well,
fleshed.
I come I'm a comic book man, and I've like, and I played D&D in high school a lot, and I always had like a type of character that is vulnerable but also can kick ass, because I always want to kick ass. And like, I love Captain America, I love Black Panther, and I love Luke Cage. So like, what I wanted Malcolm, so my character is Malcolm Trill, and the way that I came up with his name was, number one, I thought Trills had such a good harmony, and I love Emmett Till's name as well. And I also was like, Emmett Till was tragically taken young, but I wanted I wanted Malcolm to be an opposite of that, where he actually is strong and has endured adversity. So I came up with Malcolm Trills. I thought that was a very strong name. It was kind of paying respect to Emmett, because I want, what if Emmett was a superhero? That was part of my back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Another one was also Luke Cage. I always love the hero for hire bit, and I love how he can just kick ass. He's from the streets, but he serves the people. And I was like, all right, cool. But then I also wanted to I almost became a detective because I love Sherlock Holmes. So it was like all this stuff was swirling around, and I was like, and I try to make him as close to a superhero dude as possible. That's what I try to do within my realms. And so with Malcolm, he comes from a prestigious family that is both ingrained in like Candela. They're basically ingrained in the whole city, both military wise and political wise. And his family is they breed to make their family stronger. People marry into other families to make, to strengthen the core of that family, of the Trills family. And my dad is in the top government office, and also is on a few councils. And my mom basically is like, handles the business side. She's like more like Lady Macbeth, and they're very cutthroat. Mm-hmm. And so I was raised in a family where it was like, I'm expected to serve in the military. All the men serve in the military, and then and all the women basically are basically get trained in business side of things. Some get in the military, but it's mostly just business CEO kind of type stuff. And then the dudes usually tend to go off into political aspect, and then the ladies take over the business of stuff. So that's just how the family's structured. My character does not like to kill. He loves people, and so he's always been out with his family. Like, he doesn't like the structure. He thinks it's BS. He thinks it's he doesn't like the aristocracy of it all. And he's just like, I want to be free. But he does what he has to do. He joins the military and becomes badass because he loves the people that he's with. He becomes, excels in like a lot of ranks, and he gets high up there into the special division, and that's where he meets his artifact by encountering it on a mission, and it takes out his entire team, and he tries to save someone on the team, and that's where his hand gets evaporated. And that's why I don't know if any of you guys know, but I have this leather hand, badass hand, that was created by our awesome wardrobe designer. We try to make it look mechanical as possible, and then I'm connected with Edgar because Edgar is the one who fashions the hand to me and kind of gives me updates on my hand when I was trying to get over the whole accident side of things. So I'm kind of tied to Edgar that way. But it's a gift from my mom, who actually has a soft spot for me as a final gift from the family before I was kind of like cast aside, because I ultimately grew very disheartened with the family, and I was like, I don't want to do it. And so that was her way of saying, okay, well, be well. So now I live in the red district. Oh my God.
The red lamp.
The red lamp district. And I work in various bars as a bouncer, but then people have their ears to the ground, and they know that I'll do, hero for hire stuff. But I also kind of have hooked up with Candela because I want answers as to what happened with my troop and what the hell, happened to my hand and what that was that we encountered and stuff. So that's what Malcolm is all about.
Oh, I love all of those answers so much. That's so cool. Such interesting and different inspiration. But it works so well together. Alexander, can you talk to me a little bit about playing with Taliesin, who's one of the creators of the game, and what he brought to it that maybe was different from everyone else?
Yeah, Taliesin, I love that man.
I love him too.
He did something which I loved. He played a character that I didn't expect him to play, because in going into it, when I was working on my character at home and trying to kind of before we had our group meeting where we talked about each other's characters, I was kind of trying to anticipate what other people might play to like not try and step on anyone's toes or anything like that, and try and find a unique place for me to be. Yeah. And I really had it down that Taliesin was going to be an occultist. I was so sure he was going to make an occultist character because I was like, he's Taliesin. He's got to make a spooky library guy. Like it's like that's what he's going to do, and he did not at all, which was great. So when we got to the table and I was and we were listening to character concepts, I was like, holy shit, that is not at all what I thought you were going to play. But he was amazing. He created this hugely fleshed out character that was so. It's because I don't mean that it was like him as in he was playing himself, but there was so many pieces of him as the person that I know in that character that were so lovely, and so many things that like just the side of him that loves like the old trinkets and wax cylinders and all of these things that are just things he has as a person. I was like, this is great. I love this character. But
it's almost like he was channeling like some ancestor he's never met from like that time period. Like it was really, I was like, wow, you're really locked in, and it has to come from somewhere. Sometimes you watch people in performance and you're like, wow, like this is coming from a place that maybe that person doesn't even understand, but it's so feels so authentic. And so I felt like he was channeling some ancestor of his, like that was like a man about town and loved the finer things. And,
well, it was so lovely because Taliesin and I have been friends for many years, and this is the first time we've ever been able to play together for a substantial period of time.
That's awesome.
We were on one show, a different show that I'm on. He came on as a guest briefly, but we were almost never in a scene together. So it was so nice to get to play, a tabletop game with a friend of mine who I've known for so long, and just be like, did we finally get to play a game together? And this is what you do all the time. Like, it's like,
I was just like, I like to see like, well, because I've seen Tal in social circles, like throughout my career, like throughout my span of becoming a voiceover artist. It was cool to spend some quality time with him and talk. We talked comic books, Cologne. And then I got to see his personality, and he got into this character so well. He just absorbed it. And as I'm talking, getting to know him, I'm seeing bits of him in his character, right? So like he loves that, like you were talking about, Alex, about like just the trinkets and the steampunk kind of vibe, and he's showing me like this cologne that's called Meat because it has a meat hint into it.
He brought these samples of cologne.
These samples of cologne,
and like
there.
One of them was like tobacco, meat. Like it was like very. He's got niche interests for sure that just add to his like charm, and
absolutely.
You know what I mean? You're just like, wow, I just want to talk to you all day. He's got like really cool stuff in his house, like stuff that I mean, I've never been to his house, but he brought stuff for the set deck that was like for the final day when we did our
that was so trippy.
And he brought stuff that I was like, oh, this fits perfectly in this world, and it makes sense if he was like one of the he was so influential in creating this world. He must have a huge interest in that sort of turn of the century, fantasy world. And he was born to play that role. I hope that role comes back for him because it's so fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, and both of you guys together was just awesome. I just like everyone had little combos, right? That would happen throughout this show. Like everyone leaned on each other at different various times, and I thought that was awesome about this whole thing as well. And I just felt like everything fit so nice. I just didn't feel like anything was forced. We're just like, I don't know, like the Goonies or something. That was weird.
That comparison. And then Aimee, you've played with a few different DMs in the Critical Role space with Matt and Abria. What does Liam bring to the table that's different from the other DMs you've played with?
Oh gosh, it's almost like having a 9-course meal with every single person. They really take you on a totally different experience each time. And, I've known Liam because I played with him as a player, and he's always been like just incredibly thoughtful about the work. And I don't want to say he takes the work seriously. He doesn't take himself seriously, but he really does like, he thinks a lot. He's a thoughtful person. And so I knew before even starting that it was going to be a really soulful story that he wanted to tell, that he put a lot of work into. And I think the difference, well, also this world is so different, than Dungeons and Dragons, but one thing that really struck me was, and this is, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but a very cool thing that he did was, there were some things in the first episode that I don't know about you guys, or I thought at the time, I was like, maybe it's because I have ADHD. And at this point, I don't want to stop and like have him go back. But there was some stuff, especially in the beginning monologue of the first episode, that I'm like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
But then it all made sense. You know what I mean? He like,
it all came back around.
He spun the story in such a beautiful way. And something that I really love about him is he really doesn't shy away from, or I should say, because none of the GMs I've worked with shy away from this, but I would say he really leans into the more quiet moments, the more sort of like human to human connection moments. And he made it a point kind of the beginning. He was like, this is a horror genre. This is a drama horror genre. Like it's important to me that we keep this tone. And, we've got like 4 silly gooses at the table. And, I think part of the thing, and we do this as humans, is when something gets a little bit uncomfortable, like in your character, it's always if I don't have a script or something, it's always my go-to to like make a joke. And it's nice to, know that like the tone is set and he's going to keep that tone. And he's going to lean into it. So there's no sense in running away from it, because then you really detract from his narrative. And that's like the last thing we wanted to do, or I wanted to do. And I think everybody else agrees, but I think 100%. He's just someone who, I don't know what his sign is, but like.
He's a Taurus.
Yeah. He's got to have some like Pisces placements or something.
He's a Taurine Supreme, baby. I was like, whenever it's May around, I'm like, it's May time, baby. Like, Like I freaking like, cause cause he feels, man. He has that deep feeling,
he's like a big feeler, and that's I love that. That's what makes him a great performer, Yeah,
and it's just like, and like when he does it, I always thought he should have been on Magicians. He should have been on that show as the older brother to Quinn. I thought he'd be like a good older brother to like the main character on that show. And I tell him all the time, he's like, oh, whatever, shut up. I'm like, all right, I'm telling you, man, you should have been on that show. But he just has these emotions that he does, and he contorts his face to convey those emotions, which I thought was awesome, dude. I mean, he does this thing with his brow that's just brilliant. And then like, it's the brow. And it's very subtle. And yet, like, and before we even started the game, he was like, I'm gonna be up all night. I'm like, I have no doubt that you will, because he just, you know what I'm saying? Because he goes in, and like, every fine detail, and he warned us, and I'm like, and I believe him. Like when he tells me something, I'm like, I'm not this guy. Oh, you're just joking. No, if he says he's gonna give us a hell of a ride, and it's gonna be horror, and you're gonna feel, and you're gonna hurt, I'm like, all right, well, shit. And then like I could see it on his face, when we go on breaks, he'd be thinking about stuff, crafting things as we're getting our characters together. I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna go in. And and what you said, Aimee, I have ADD too. So the beginning monologue, you're just hyped to be on the table. So when he's so I'm trying to calm my ass down. We got like I got 2 shots of espresso on my ass, and we like, what I'm saying?
Right.
We're just like,
I was drinking so much coffee that whole time.
It was so jacked.
Yeah, because it was the first time too we were on camera with our costumes and stuff. So like you're just sitting there, and I'm like, I need to pay attention because this is going to be important. But I'm just thinking about like, I'm wearing 100-year-old like waist pincher, my eyebrows are blocked off, am I sweating? And then I'm like, wait, he's 5 minutes in. What did I miss?
He's in. I'm like, because I had to get used to the cameras. I'm like, what's my good profile? I was like, my vein butt. I'm like.
Thankfully, they took the monitors away, like with after took them away, because I think they saw us all like.
Before they did that, we were all posing. We were all trying to find that great angle, because I want you my unflattering angle for like 4 hours. You don't want that either. You know what I'm saying?
No, I just kept seeing my own face across the table from me, and I was like, "Stop! Get out of here!" Like,
I know, it's so real. You sit down, you're like, "Here we go." And then like my thing is like I was like, I've wanted to. Matt and Marisha always had like they had Critical Role ever since I started in VO. And I would try to get in that little circle, man. It was like, no. It was like, it is set, man. This is the click. This is it, dude. I think Matt had like a practice. He had a practice like round, and I snuck in there, and I got a taste. And ever since I was in that, I was like, oh my God, I want to play. I want to play. I want to play. But you know what I'm saying? You don't invite yourself to the party. You know what I'm saying? You let yourself be invited. And
No,
Liam,
I invited myself to this
did you?
party.
Because you know why?
100%.
Because you're adorable. That's why. And you
No,
always say shit.
I
I'm
was
a big
like, once I
Lemonade
got the
fan.
taste, I was like, oh, so this is where I live now.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
well,
can
yeah.
see that.
I mean, I will definitely be more vocal with the next, like,
Yes.
more shit. You know what I'm saying? Of course. Like, I was like, and they were like, see you next time. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I do. Don't tell me
I'm gonna
that.
keep you to that.
You know what I'm
Don't forget
saying?
you
No,
said
don't
it.
freaking don't like that's a verbal agreement. That's
I'll
the
just be
verbal.
quietly over here. It's fine.
Yeah. But I was like, when Liam like texted me, he's like, I would like to see if you'd like to play a test game for Candela. And I was like, what? So when my agent called me, they were like, oh, and then I texted Liam, I was like, yes, we'd like to see if you
Trying to keep it cool.
Yeah. And I'm like freaking out, but I'm like, no, I'm chill. Yeah, man, I'll be down there. Yeah, no problem. Like, let's play. Let's play. And then I got the phone, I screamed, like Julia Roberts did when she saw the diamond necklace that Edward gave her, you know what I'm saying? Like
What a reference.
I love that so much because I get that too whenever I get to talk to you guys in D&D because it's like my happy place. So I'm always like, yeah, no, cool, that's cool. And immediately got I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool.
It's strange, man. And then you have to make sure that you're actually like servicing the audience too, because you want them to have a good time.
Yeah.
So it's not about me. It's about me trying to convey that to like people out there who are like logging on.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I'm genuine as possible. I don't want to, I don't want to be a poser. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it's also a very different thing because this game being a dramatic game as opposed to, the more fantasy comedic not to say there isn't dramatic moments in like Critical Role or anything like that, but there is a lot of comedic moments and there isn't in this game. It doesn't lend itself to that. So dramatic improv is such a different thing than comedic improv.
Yeah.
And it really puts you in a different headspace, and it's a place I love. I love dramatic improv, so I was ecstatic to be doing this.
God, dude, like freaking Aimee and Alex pulled out some crazy shit where I'm like, fuck, now I gotta cry. Like I'm like, not only like it wasn't just one of those cries, it was like a single tear. You know what I'm saying on some of their stuff, and I was like, damn, that's good. And because you're with actors, man.
Yeah.
Like, I was trained on camera, like to be on camera, like for a few years. And then I went to voiceovers, but you never forget, like, Tal's been on camera. Aimee, I don't even have to say nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? She's like freaking, like she's killing it. And like, and Alex is on camera. It's like, I'm like, shit, I got to make sure that I bring it. You know what I'm saying? Like that the acting's real, and then become a little bit of the character a little bit. But then there's also like we're playing for so many hours that like you break into yourself and then you break back in the character. So I was like, I'm just gonna like not freak out about it because like I'm just gonna be natural with it because if you try to force something, it just looks fake.
Yeah, your character is just such a joy to watch, Imari and Alex too. And I think people are gonna really enjoy this story. It's also like maybe a little bit more contained because there's only 4 of us.
Yeah.
And players. I mean, so that I think that is an interesting choice. And not to say that the world is small. Like we go a bunch of different places, and we meet a lot of characters along the way. But there is something nice you have a little more time to delve into everybody's character.
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it bonded with everyone. I mean, I was like, I can genuinely say that I love these people, and that was like just for like the span of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Man, if I ever start acting like in movies, I'm gonna be like, I love everyone. You bond. You bond with good people. Like I have a group from Rescue Bots, my first animation show that I ever did, and we have a thread to this day that ended in 2016. And like, but I know that every experience is like that. But I think that everything was so crafted. Like they looked at how we played together, and we just got along, and everything was natural, and we were all odd in our own ways. And, and we have no shame about it. We let our freak flags fly high in the sky. And, and I dig that. I love honest people. So like, I was very excited to play the game with everyone. So
one of my favorite parts about Candela is the fact that there's more of a permanence to like the injuries and everything that happens.
God, that was so rough.
Yeah, you burned a drive immediately. Like
I mean, I was like, oh, this is real.
You started out with a scar. I was like, this
Yeah,
is
same.
very risky behavior,
I
Imari.
know,
What are
dude.
you can't come
I
back.
was like, dude, in my tour self, I'm always dipping my toe in the pool. How's the temperature today? Oh, it's a little cold. I mean, that get warm for me. And I wanted to play it different with this cat and kind of go out for something I would never do in real life, which is second guess certain things, and play fast and play strong, and and kind of go against the grain. I guess that's how I kind of differentiated myself from that character as well. It was interesting though. It was very interesting.
And I unfortunately made a habit of not dying in RPGs. And I really wanted to in this one, but
I mean, you're so morbid with it.
We'll see what happens. But
he's like disappointed when he lived.
I was like,
oh, damn it.
Yeah, you were the only one that was like not afraid of the death wishes that Liam was putting on all of our characters.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna. You're not fucking killing off this sweet young girl who suffered enough in life, and Alex was just actively trying.
Alex
kill me, come on, do it.
It was like when Liam would threaten him, he'd actually caught him like licking his lips a little bit. He's like, yes, death. I want it.
And then because I didn't know. Okay, I don't know. I don't remember what episode that happens in, so I won't say anything. But it's very I love because I've played characters that have gone through experiences that should have died, and then didn't, which was an interesting thing to play.
Right.
I like that, but then I wanted to play the other thing of like what happens when they do, like, and I hadn't gotten to do that yet. So I was really kind of like, come on. I was like,
fucking pain, and he would live, and he would look.
And also because he was so determined, he was like, one of you's gonna die in episode 2.
I think it was important to Liam, like we've mentioned, that this was like a world that is much closer to our own world. Like most people do not experience magic. If you in D&D, if you fall out of a window, like chances are you'll probably survive, in this world, it's like you'll survive, but you'll definitely fucking break your leg because it's much closer. The consequences are much closer to what they would be in our world. So he really drove that home. I think, at least for me, I was like, I'm not dying today.
That was great consequences. Love it. Let's go.
I was like the disappointment in Alex's face when he would like make successful rolls. I was like, dude. I was like,
failure is interesting. Man. I want to fail.
Me, I'm like, nah, dude. I want that freaking. I want to live to play another. I want my character to come back. I love my character so much. I always fell in love with him. So I was like, So part of me was like also protecting him at the same time, but also playing kind of fast because that's how he is. So it was different. It was odd. It's weird to make choices like that. It's so funny I can get into it. You just really get into like, you're like, oh God, okay, please roll it. Please roll it. Like inside, it's the amount of stress you go through.
I'm going to shift to kind of the second half of the episode when you guys were investigating what had happened to your friend. How shocked were you when his sister came out and like killed?
Oh my God.
Dude.
That shit was next level. That was like Martin McDonough shit. Like I know that, I don't know if that was one of his references, but I know Liam is like proud of his Irish heritage. I'm like, this is the most Irish shit I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, it did feel like
little town, little island town, and like the creepy. I don't know.
Yeah, the ghost of Irish. What was it? The ghost of Irish. What was it?
Inisherin.
I'll mess it up, dude. I'll mess it up.
No, I mean I didn't remember. Yeah, very Martin McDonough coded, which is a very cool world to set like a horror thing in.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
that really took me off guard. And I think in the episode, I'm just like, I
think we were also shocked. We're like, no, he didn't do, because also Liam took a lot of care and time beforehand to be like, what are you guys comfortable with? What are you not comfortable with? Which I understand is like integral part of any kind of like tabletop role-playing game. So the fact that he was just like, so I was like, oh, probably like not a lot of stuff is gonna happen. He's probably just gonna like baby, like a little horror.
Yeah.
Then he like went to town. I was like, shit, he cracked her head open with a mallet or whatever it was.
Well, and then also I had spent like the last half an hour being like, everything's fine here. You all are being weird. Yeah. It's going to be fine.
I smelled freaking weird the minute we went to the bar. I was like, this dude's hiding something. Freaking, there's some creepy ass couple on the top of the hill looking at us without the fog. And I'm like, they know something. That bar dude definitely knew something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like, I was just like, the whole town's probably in on it. It's a big Truman Show where we're just walking through there, like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And then, like, and then when we got to his mom, to Declan's mom's mom's house with his sisters, I felt mildly comfortable, but then we had a bleed inside, right? Then we felt a bleed inside the house.
Yeah.
Did we feel some sort of
Maybe.
presence or something like that, right? Something, or maybe that was a different place.
Maybe. But no, but yeah, but what?
Like Declan was the lead.
Oh yeah.
Declan was a bleed.
So,
Okay, yeah.
But it was so great to have that moment of like, yeah, there's some weird people here, and it's a weird island town, and
Yeah.
they're being a little creepy, but it's
the
fine.
way he
and
did it too. Didn't he go? I'm like talking to an old lady, and then he goes, and then out of nowhere you hear duk, 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 duk.
Yeah, yes.
And I could like picture it in my head, like being in the movie of this scene happening, which happens a lot in like if you're like in a good game, you know. But this I could really see it, you know, as it was happening.
Well, he was like, all I could see was like socks, a dirty socks and a filthy dress flipping on the ground to go shake this person. Like I could see the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I could see the thing go through the neck, and I was like, oh shit. Like that's when we were like, oh, what is going on? So that was that was lovely. That was lovely.
Yeah, no, it was wonderful. I love that so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely was suspicious of the fairy houses, and then that happened, and I went, oh, different than I expected.
Yeah. I was like, okay, so it's gonna be like a fairy thing. Okay, we're gonna go into the woods and we're gonna be here the whole 3 episodes. And I was it was very shocking.
It was like, I would definitely had an idea, and then I think every way we would turn, it would be like, nope, that's not it. That's not it. And you're like, oh, okay. And I think a part of it, I could like guesstimate a little bit. But then also some of it, I was like, dude, I don't know what the hell's about to happen right now.
Well, it was also very important to me that with the way Edgar was, that I really, being somebody who was trying to deal with paranormal phenomena in a very scientific manner, it was very important to me to look at things factually and be like, no, they're just people. It's fine. Like there's nothing weird here. And he was so determined to look at the world through a certain lens that blinded him to other things.
It frustrated. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, Edgar, you don't think this shit's weird, man? It's a horror story weird. I was like, honey here. And he was like, no, that's nothing weird. Normal, you're just judgmental. And I'm like, and I was like, Edgar.
Look, I've been to weird small towns where people are fucking weird. So I was like, this exists in the world. They're not, I mean, maybe they're murdering people, but it doesn't have anything to do with magic powder. Yeah, it's just, there are weird people. So I was like, this is an appropriate stance to take.
Yeah, I remember I was like, I want to get those creepy people on the top of the hill. I think you were like, nah, man, they're just people observing.
They're walking their dogs.
People walking their dogs. It's fine. I'm like, I smell trouble.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I could talk to you guys about this all day, but I'm going to wrap it up with one last question. What can you tease that you're excited for audiences to see in the next episode that they might not expect? Because this episode, like, it's so full of twists and turns. And I literally am going to the next episode, like, I don't know. I feel like Liam's just going to shock me every 10 minutes.
He will. I'll let you guys go because I'll let someone say something. Well, how did it end on what was the specific end?
We were leaving the island on the ship.
Okay.
That's how I knew we were in trouble too, because I knew we were in trouble when he let us off so easy off the island. I was like,
there's something going on after that.
Yes, we have to be tough.
We have to heal back out. That's right.
Yeah.
But I think like you get to see a little more backstory on all of the characters, which is really interesting. And you get to kind of delve into their world a little more. Again, we have the time because there's only 4 of us. So you get to follow Grimoria home. You get to, go to Alex's or Edgar's a place of the hospital. Sorry.
Right.
We get to meet your family, Imari. And that was like really cool. And to see the dynamics shift. And also just Taliesin's not here to talk about his character, but that was like such a highlight getting to, I mean, I don't know if this is a spoiler, and if it is, it's really minor, but our place where our chapter meets or our group meets is Taliesin's place.
Apartment.
Leo's house.
So we spent a lot of time and he spent a lot of time describing it, and it's just like a really cool space. So yeah,
I could taste the liquor he would serve us there. Would you happen
Yeah.
to like a beverage? And the way he would do it, I could like, he was so effing good with it. I was like, damn, man, like you just killed his character was like, I feel like we were like, I don't know, being treated to a nice, good, like, you know, a little after hours, you know, drinky. We're at the apartment. Like I could feel the whole essence of it. It was really awesome.
But it's sort of like, just to tease a little bit, you know, like the second episode, I'm pretty sure it's the second episode. It like jumps from, you know, like an Indiana Jones sort of like, I won't explain more than that, but you know, we go down into Old Fair and it becomes like this action cool thing. Maybe that's the third episode. I'm like all confused, but you know, it goes from, you know, the ship to this like crazy island. And then you get to see like how the other half lives, and you get to, you know what I mean? You get to see like the upper
we get to see more of
crust.
New Fair and
the upper
stuff
New
like
Fair.
that.
And then we get to go on like these cool adventures in Old Fair. So I think overall you just get a lot for your buck in the story.
I mean, God, we really did freaking go like a lot of crazy places. I think the second episode, it gets pretty wild. Like, I can't say anything anyway, but like, definitely like, you know, definitely more insight, definitely like a little bit more backstory and more development, definitely. And I loved. I mean, I think I loved all 3 episodes equally because it was like through awesome stages. And the third stage, you're just like, you feel a little more confident with what you're rolling. You feel a little bit like, you know, if we're still there. You know, like we're feeling locked in, and it's just adrenaline. So, it's just like I miss it. I miss the smell of battle.
Also, can I just say that Amy's eyebrows look great in every episode?
Oh my God, they really do. Oh.
Well, that's not anything that I can even. Our makeup artist Dre did such a phenomenal job, and she was saying to me, "I've been trying to get someone to like agree to block their eyebrows out, but everyone's like scared to do it." And I remember thinking like, I once in high school wanted to be Cher for Halloween. And so I blocked my own eyebrows off and I like did a terrible job. And so I had experience doing it poorly. And I'm like, maybe I can live out my, you know, my fantasies here.
Yes. Dude,
it was really great. And I got to keep my normal brows, which is the highlight. But I think like the looks of the show, like Jenny Newman, who did all of our costumes, like
she's a phenomenal job on our costumes.
It's just,
unbelievable.
You know, they amassed a team of people that really are just operating at the highest levels. Yeah. And I think that every chapter of this series gets better and better. You know, the costumes they top themselves every time. And that's really such a privilege to be in a production that has that amount of like care and attention to detail as this. So I'm so thrilled to be a part of it.
I completely agree.
Amen, sister.
Candela is fantastic. All of you need to hold them to bringing you back because you are phenomenal. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Have you seen the first? You saw it? Yeah, because we it doesn't premiere till tomorrow, right? So today is tomorrow, I guess, right? We are in the tomorrow.
In tomorrow.
I'm like, I have a few friends who wants to do a watch party. I'm like, listen, man.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, they want to do a little 4-hour watch party. Maybe the first hour, but like, I'm like 4 hours, dude.
Yeah, get out of my house.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got things to do. This is personal. From this one, when I'm like eating my little cookie, let's see what we're doing. Can't wait.
I love it. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Thanks for doing this, and thanks for bringing us all 3 together because I miss these faces.
Oh, miss you too.
Boo.